Today, we're going to be talking about a Green Bay Packers wide receiver heading into their second season in 2024 after a very promising rookie season in 2023 after being selected in the second round out of Michigan State, and that is, of course, wide receiver Jayden Reed. And why I believe he is destined to become a star on the Green Bay Packers offense and one of the best slot wide receivers in the NFL for years to come. People are starting to take notice of Jayden Reed after watching what he put on film during year one and the immense amount of talent that this guy has with sky-high potential. So in today's video, we're going to break down Jayden Reed, go over everything that happened in his rookie season for the Green Bay Packers, take a look at his tape, break that down, and why I see him becoming a superstar for the Green Bay Packers in years to come. Jayden Reed was a player that after the 2023 draft, I was a little bit shocked to see the Packers draft just because he was outside of their normal thresholds when you look at the Packers drafting a wide receiver. But after doing more research, watching his film at MSU, it all made sense in terms of the direction the Packers were going with Jordan Love and the type of players that Matt LaFleur wanted in this offense. And Jayden Reed is a tremendous athlete, versatile type of player, can play pretty much any position, including running back. I mean, this guy simply does it all. He's a weapon. Both him and Dontayvion Wicks are quickly becoming my two favorite wide receivers on the Green Bay Packers roster. And that says a lot because this is just such a talented group. I'm not trying to downplay the importance of Christian Watson or Romeo Doubs or even Bo Melton. It's just these two guys, more importantly, Jayden Reed, the focus of today's video, man, they have so much potential and very well could become the top two receivers on this Packers offense in future years. A couple weeks ago, I made a video on Dontayvion Wicks and his potential at becoming a top receiver in the NFL as well. I truly believe in both these guys a ton, and I think they will live up to that potential. And that is 100% the case for me for Jayden Reed. But before we dive in, I wanted to talk to you guys about today's video sponsor, Mando. Control body odor everywhere with Mando and don't stink like the Chicago Bears. You can use my code PACK, P-A-C-K, with the link down in the description to get $5 off your first starter pack. That equates to over 40% off. Summer is officially here, and where I live on the East Coast, it's been like 95 degrees the past 2 weeks, and Mando has really came in handy. Mando's whole body deodorant will truly be your best friend this summer. It's clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours, and you can use it anywhere on the body. Mando's whole body deodorant stops odor before it starts. It also comes in 4 cologne quality scents, including Bourbon Leather, Pro Sport, Clover Woods, and my favorite, Mount Fuji. Mando has truly been my go-to for this extreme heat wave we're going through on the East Coast right now. So guys, like I said, I have a discount code for you guys to use to get $5 off your first starter pack. That's with code PACK, P-A-C-K, and that equates to over 40% off your first starter pack. That's with code PACK, P-A-C-K, at shopmando.com. All right, so now back into the video. So Jayden Reed was selected in the 2023 NFL Draft in the second round, pick 51, out of Michigan State. And as I said earlier, kind of outside of the threshold, under 6 feet, under 190 pounds. Wasn't the fastest guy in terms of his combine. Now, the Packers did clock him in a lot quicker than that when they did a private workout with him. Actually clocked him in at 4.37, and you could see that on film. You could see that last year, that he was a lot faster than his combine 40 suggested. But normally, the Packers go for these taller, lankier, faster type of wide receivers like a Christian Watson. So again, it was a little bit of a surprise when the Packers selected Jayden Reed. But man, when I was shocked about that pick, I couldn't have been more wrong. Because like I said, after looking into Jayden Reed, it all made so much sense. And I was so excited for this guy to finally get on the field. And he did not disappoint. Bringing up his profile here, guys, Jayden Reed had a great rookie season for a wide receiver. He had 90 total targets with 64 receptions, 793 receiving yards, including 8 touchdowns. All this guy did was score. He also had 2 rushing touchdowns, so 10 total touchdowns. That was tied for all offensive players that were rookies, I think, with Jordan Addison. So he had a great rookie season. An overall grade of a 75.1, receiving grade of a 76.0, and of course has a rushing grade because the Packers utilized him in that way a ton as well, a 66.0. 9.7. So some other stats here. He only had 3 drops on the season, 12.4 yards per reception, 5.4 yards after catch per reception, and a passer rating when targeted, 123.1. Jayden Reed is quickly becoming the quarterback's best friend, and I'll show you guys when we break down the film. This guy simply knows what to do when a play is breaking down, where to find the soft spot in a zone, and be the quarterback's best friend, which, if you go back into the history of Packers wide receivers with a Randall Cobb, a Jordy Nelson, both of those guys were excellent at doing that. And Jayden Reed already is excellent at doing that in year 1, and that's why I think he's going to be just such a great wide receiver for years to come. In terms of his rushing stats, 11 carries, 119 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 10.8 yards per attempt, and 2 forced missed tackles. Jayden Reed had a 70.1 reception percentage, which was first for all Green Bay wide receivers, a 1.95 yards per route run, which was second for all Green Bay wide receivers, or fourth for all rookie wide receivers. He had a 4.2% drop percentage, which was the lowest for all Green Bay wide receivers, and 5.4 yards after catch per reception, highest for all Green Bay wide receivers. And of course, Jayden Reed, just so versatile, could also run the football. 10.7 yards per attempt, was first among all rookies, all non-running back rookies, with 10 plus carries. When you bring up the chart to see the types of routes Jayden Reed ran, along with the success by route in 2023, you could see how efficient Jayden Reed was at particular routes, a lot of which are short, but also was very efficient on post routes and corner routes. We see he ran post routes 16% of the time and succeeded 80% of the time. He ran corner routes, a little less, 6%, just under 6%, but succeeded nearly 82% of the time. When you go to short routes, he ran slants 22.7% of the time. Of course, out of the slot, he's going to be running a lot of short routes, a lot of slants, and he succeeded 85.7% of the time running a slant route. Screens, he ran 8%, succeeded 100%. There should be no reason you don't succeed that unless the blocking's terrible. Flat routes, he ran just under 9%, succeeded 81.3% of the time. And looking at more intermediate routes, he ran out routes 9.7% of the time, only succeeded 50% of the time on those. Dig routes, he ran just under 10% of the time, but succeeded 83.3%. So that was definitely a very high success ratio in terms of a route, was a dig route for Jayden Reed. But definitely the one that's most impressive is the post. Running that just over 16% of the time and succeeding 80% of the time is super impressive. And when you take a look at his film, man, there are so many times he just burned defenses on post routes. It definitely shows. So now let's dive into the film of Jayden Reed. I watched almost every snap from Jayden Reed in 2023 and took all the most important plays, in my opinion, to show you guys. So here's one at the top of the screen. You'll see Jayden Reed. And of course, I got to start with a post route because we were just talking about how successful his post routes were. So here Jayden Reed has off zone coverage, outside shade. It's cover 3, so this cornerback's going to be in a deep third, and they have a single high safety over the top. And there's simple things that Jayden Reed does that's so smooth, and why this guy continues to get open. First off, he's stemming outside off the release, just working to this cornerback's leverage, this nickel cornerback, pushing him farther to the outside, but also kind of showing this cornerback that, hey, maybe he's also running vertical, keeping that cornerback outside because he also has this receiver here. And he also notices this safety breaks down low to the weak side here. So Jayden Reed already sees this wide open gap here, but he's not going to go directly towards it because then the safety's going to see that, break down on it, and cover up Jayden Reed. So he does an excellent job at stemming outside. It's simple things like that that may go unnoticed when you first watch a play, and it's just like, oh, wow, this guy was just wide open. The defense blew the coverage. But it's not all about that. Jayden Reed does a good job at selling something different. Maybe that be a out route here or a corner route where this receiver, say, runs the post and Jayden Reed were to run a corner where they would have that covered up for the most part because that corner could then pass off to the safety from the outside. Jayden Reed would run the corner right into this cornerback in a deep third, but that's not the case. He's running a simple post route, and this safety's, weak side. This cornerback's supposed to kind of take over towards the middle, but Jayden Reed sold outside enough to keep pushing that cornerback outside the numbers here to where once he makes his break inside, he has all the leverage, and all Jordan Love has to do is float that thing over the top there in the middle for an easy touchdown. Like I said, it looks easy, but that's the beauty of Jayden Reed. It's not this easy for most wide receivers, but it is for him because the small nuances he has in terms of running his routes and simply just stemming out like that based on the defense the Minnesota Vikings were showing with a bailout safety to the left side there. I mean, it's just beautiful. It's a work of art. Here's another play from the Minnesota game, and I posted this on Twitter yesterday because I just love this. And it might not look like anything crazy, but you have Jayden Reed at the top here. He's going to do a motion to a jerk motion, pretty much wheel it up to the outside, restack the cornerback perfectly to run an out route, a deep out route, where Jordan Love just puts it on the money. Perfect timing, perfect catch. Let's let this thing play out. So as I said, you'll see Jayden Reed in motion to a jerk motion. You still see the Vikings are in zone coverage, so not man, and he just does an excellent job at setting up that out route against number 21 here for the Minnesota Vikings. So let's let this run through again, and I'll show you why. It's just a perfectly ran route. Not only is the flow just perfect on the jerk motion into the wheel here, this cornerback's in deep third. The Vikings are again in cover 3. You always have to sell vertical in terms of when you're running a route. So Jayden Reed also does an excellent job at working against this cornerback's leverage, kind of starting to break to the inside. When you're running a deep out route, it's better to be on the inside hip of a cornerback that's playing a deep third, or he wants you to go inside. He's outside leverage because he's in a cover 3. He doesn't want you to go outside. He doesn't want you to run a 9. He doesn't want you to run a deep out. He doesn't want you to run a corner. But Jayden Reed does an excellent job at working against his leverage, say breaking into the inside, and you'll see it right at the top of this route here. You'll see he starts to stem inside, give a rocker step to the inside, and that cornerback completely flips his hips, and that makes it a very easy out route by Jayden Reed with 3 to 4 yards of separation, and it's just a dime by Jordan Love on the outside. I'm going to let this one play through again because to me it's a small play, but I love this play. I just love everything about it, from the jerk motion to Jayden Reed's fluidity on that wheel to setting up the cornerback to run that out route to get 3 to 4 yards of separation. It was by the book. That's how you'd run a deep out route against a cover 3 outside shade corner. So here's going to be kind of a broken play or an extended play. The good old Aaron Rodgers play, as we used to call it, where it seemed like every other play, the initial read wasn't there and it would get extended and Aaron Rodgers would have to wait. He would usually end up throwing it out of bounds. But that wasn't the case here. We have Jayden Reed here in the slot, and I believe he's going to be running a post route. Imagine that. But this play breaks down. So let's let this thing run. So cornerbacks inside shade, man coverage. Jayden Reed's running a post route against a cover 2 here. So there's nothing going. They have Tampa 2, actually. This linebacker's dropping all the way back into the middle. Jayden Reed's running a post route. Jordan Love probably could have found this check down here. I think that's either Tucker Kraft or Luke Musgrave. Could have hit Aaron Jones in the flat, but he wants more. And he let this play extend. Jordan Love, great protection, still could fire this ball in right to the middle here. I'm not sure if he can see him over the lineman, but normal wide receivers will kind of just continue this route out and then kind of float and just sit there and be like, oh, well, he's not going to throw the ball to me. But as I said earlier, Jayden Reed adapts to the play like a veteran. So we see here he starts to break down. He has 3 defenders around him. He knows that post isn't going to work. Look at Jordan Love's eyes. If Jayden Reed continues this, he'll have 4 defenders covering him. So what's the point to do that? So then he turns around and sees Jordan Love, stop on the right here and come back to his left side. Jayden Reed then's going to do an excellent job at coming back to the football to where his quarterback's eyes are looking, to where his quarterback is going. And he gets open on 3 defenders here. Those defenders are lost in space. Jordan Love fires a ball over the left side. Jayden Reed goes up, makes a nice catch. So this is the type of thing I used to see from Jordy Nelson. I used to see from Randall Cobb. It's not all about their initial route, which he does well. It's just it's covered up here. I mean, the Vikings had a perfect defense for this deep post route, the Tampa 2 there. But it's about the extension of the play. And Jayden Reed working back towards the football and getting open where that's not where he was supposed to be, but he made it work for Jordan Love, and you get a big gain here. So here is a slant route out of the slot from Jayden Reed. As we saw, he had high success rates on slant routes. It's going to be a touchdown, and honestly, the throw is just absolutely insane. I still don't understand how this one got in there. So the Lions are in man coverage here. You're within the 10-yard line or right about that. You're going to see a lot of man coverage. This cornerback's in outside shade. So he has safety help over the middle. He does not want you to run a corner, so he's going to play outside shade. A lot of receivers will just simply take the inside release, and the cornerback will just run with them, and they'll run directly into the safety. And Jayden Reed has high success on slant routes because he knows how to play them against certain defenders. This is outside shade press man, and Jayden Reed does the perfect thing with an outside release, attacking this cornerback's leverage and selling vertical and pushing him farther to the outside. You see he does a little bit of a rocker step or a chop step there to really sell outside with that front left foot to that cornerback, then gets pushed further and further outside, and then he can quickly swipe underneath with his quick footwork and his explosion and his speed, and Jordan Love just fires a missile. I don't understand how that ball got through. It's almost like Christian Watson was just kind of in the way, getting stuck on this defensive back where he wasn't supposed to be. Here's another angle, because it's just an absolutely insane throw. Like, how did that ball get through? I mean, it went through, like, what, 3 defenders here? I kind of want to try to pause it. Yeah, it seemed like Christian Watson took a while getting to this out route. It's supposed to kind of be a pick style type of play where, Christian Watson runs the out, Jayden Reed runs the slant, and maybe Watson's the one that gets open because Reed picks this linebacker or Watson picks the cornerback like he kind of did here. But still, that ball getting through that tiny little slot there, just an absolute dime by Jordan Love. But more importantly, it was set up by the beautiful route by Jayden Reed, and setting this up against press outside shade man, running a slant exactly how you should against that, and just the fluidity, the quickness, the explosion, the hands, the touchdown. Here's another play showing Jayden Reed adapt to what's at hand, what the defense is showing, how the offensive play is going. So Jayden Reed is tasked with a 9 route out of the slot, or a slot fade. And he kind of takes this slow because he sees the Vikings are in zone. He sees he can get right behind this linebacker. This linebacker's in flat zone. This linebacker has his eyes in the backfield. They're not in Tampa 2 or anything, so this linebacker's not dropping back deep or anything. This safety's in single high with his hips flipped towards this side, looking at these 2 wide receivers. So if Jayden Reed were to just run this full speed 9, the safety would flip his hips and track him, and it would be a throw Jordan Love probably wouldn't make. But Jayden Reed slows down and just kind of sits in this open zone here. So this safety sees that both of these receivers, this outside one ran a comeback. This tight end is kind of locked up by this corner, and this linebacker, hey, he's got to flip around because it looks like Jayden Reed's running a 9 route. And if Jayden Reed ran full speed, he'd run straight into the safety, but he does a good job of just kind of floating there in the open zone. Jordan Love sees that, fires the ball in, another big gain for Green Bay. Again, this is something that old wide receivers for the Packers always did. Even Donald Driver, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb. And Randall Cobb's a good comparison because both these guys, playing out of the slot, just finding the open zone and being the quarterback's best friend. Receivers that do this and can see these things happen mid-play and kind of sit in the middle of zones wide open where other receivers would just run that route into the safety. That's why he's a quarterback's best friend, and that's why I see him becoming a superstar for this Packers offense. Here's another one, an extended play that his normal original route didn't work. The play gets extended. Jordan Love has to roll out right, and again, throws an absolute laser to Jayden Reed for a touchdown. There's a reoccurring theme here as well. Jordan Love, man, this guy was insane last year, so it's not all on Jayden Reed. Jordan Love, he fired this ball into places that most quarterbacks wouldn't. So Jayden Reed out of the slot here in a stack top of the screen here, and it's going to be a corner route, and it's locked up. The Tampa Bay defense, has a perfect defense for this. I believe they're in cover 3 here. Yes, they are. So Jayden Reed has a safety. There's safety over the middle. This cornerback's in a deep third. There's nothing he can do here. There's nothing he could do to sell and get wide open on this corner. So he runs it as best as possible and starts to fade out to the outside there. Jordan Love, has to climb the pocket. That thing's breaking down. And honestly, Jordan Love probably could have ran this for 10 yards, but he wants to extend the play. So he's going to roll out right, let this play a little longer. Jayden Reed kind of starts to run to the inside, sees Jordan Love breaking out to the right, and you see all the green grass by Jordan Love, but he wants more than that. He wants a touchdown, and Jayden Reed also realizes this, breaks outside, back towards the quarterback, back towards the ball side, absolute laser, toe tap touchdown. You can't make this stuff up, guys. This is just a beauty to watch because it's a broken play. This isn't designed how it's supposed to be. And you watch it game day and you don't see these coaches film. You're just like, oh, that's probably what it was supposed to be. A deep out route, extended play. Absolute laser by Jordan Love. But it's the extension of the play by Jayden Reed that made this a possible touchdown. If Jordan Love takes off, if Jayden Reed continues to the inside here, he's not open. Jayden Reed doesn't break back this way. Jordan Love's going to take off and run. And maybe he scores, but maybe he takes a big hit. Maybe he gets hurt in that. This was the correct decision based off hindsight because Jordan Love fired an absolute laser to Jayden Reed and it ended up in a touchdown. Still a very tough throw to make there. But it was created by both Jordan Love extending the play and Jayden Reed also being a veteran in terms of extended plays and finding the open zone, getting back to his quarterback, and getting in position to make an awesome play. An awesome catch there with both the toe taps there. So here's another play. Jayden Reed's going to be running a corner route out of the slot. I believe this is against Alontae Taylor. I could be wrong. But also showcasing his physicality. You know, as an undersized, or when you look at him, an undersized wide receiver, under 6 foot, under 190 pounds, you may think he may get bullied around by more physical cornerbacks. That's not the case here. He's in press man. Jayden Reed's going to come out and just throw 2 hands right into Alontae Taylor's chest, kind of throw him off balance right away. And I think that upsets Alontae Taylor because he wasn't expecting that out of Jayden Reed. Jayden Reed's then going to take an outside release, kind of restack Alontae Taylor here, but also hand fighting with him. You know, Alontae Taylor very well could have got called for holding here, but Jayden Reed's fighting through that, and he does an excellent job to lean inside right before his break and push against Alontae with his body, and then break to the outside on a corner route. At that point, Alontae Taylor's off base, and he slips down on the field. Little float of a pass by Jordan Love over to the left side there, and it's a first down from Jayden Reed. Again, showcasing his physicality here to come out and just throw 2 hands into a press man corner as a slot wide receiver, as a smaller guy, just shows his ability to get physical and want to, you know, be a physical wide receiver, because he can be. He definitely can be. And like I said, just that subtle push against him, the kind of showcasing he's going to run a post route, then breaking it to a corner. It's subtle, but it gets him wide open because Alontae Taylor hits the turf after that. And of course, I got to show the all-22 view of this end-around touchdown against the Chargers. It was just beautiful blocking and a well-set-up play by the Green Bay Packers. You see Luke Musgrave leading out here, take out this corner. No idea what that safety is doing. I mean, that guy got chewed out in film. Just watch this safety real quick. We're going to let this play. I mean, right now, what does this safety see? Lead blocker, Malik Heath. Lead blocker, Luke Musgrave. Jayden Reed, football in hand, running to the outside. Right? Jayden Reed by no means is cutting this inside. He's going outside the numbers, and he's going to run up the sideline. What in the world is that save? He's going and attacking Malik Heath like he has the football. That guy's got to be studied, because he might be shaving points, honestly, because that's bad. That's really bad. But again, Jayden Reed simply making plays, whether it's a run play, whether it's a pass play, beautifully set up by the Green Bay Packers. This was easy for Jayden Reed. I mean, he didn't even get touched, but that safety, I have no idea what you're doing. I just wanted to include this because it's just such a fun play, and Jayden Reed can be utilized in so many different ways. And wow, just awful by number 3 up here. Who's number 3 on the, like, is that Derwin James? He's got to be studied. I think that's Derwin James. That's awful. I have another play for you guys, and man, this is a long video, but I just can't get over watching Jayden Reed. It's so fun to do because he seems like a 6-year veteran. He seems like that Stephon Diggs type of player that just simply, you know, doesn't wow you in so many different ways. He's not the most physical guy. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the strongest guy, but he simply just knows how to get open. He simply knows how to work back to the football. And when the ball's in his hands, he knows how to, you know, make plays. And here's a motion into a deep dig. The Packers love using motion with their wide receivers, as should every team. It's a great thing. It's the new age NFL, using motions as wide receivers. It creates, you know, you have a running start here. And you see this after this motion, a running start onto a wheel. And the Bears defense are, I think, in a disguise cover 2. They might be in cover 3 there. But nonetheless, you know, out of motion, running, like kind of wheeling it out to the outside, and then just breaking on a deep dig right behind these linebackers, but underneath the safety. For a wide open, you know, deep play here. I think it's actually a cover 3, but it was a bailout by this guy on the bottom here. Is that Brisker? I'm not sure. But it's a great play design. I think you have this receiver running a post. This is either a 9 or a corner. It's off that motion, that wheel to a dig underneath. I mean, this should be open 9 times out of the 10, as long as the protection's good, the timing's good, and Jordan Love's throw is good, which most of the time it is. This is going to be an easy gain every time against this defense. And you see how much space Jayden Reed has here, and then just getting upfield and creating more yards off of that. But again, a lot of motion with Jayden Reed. The Packers did this a ton with him, and they will continue to do this a ton to not only sell jet motion, handoffs or end arounds, but to get him open, get him a running start. The Dolphins do this a lot with Tyreek Hill. Give the guy a running start. Why wouldn't you, right? So they're doing a lot with Jayden Reed, and you can see why. It works. It simply works. And here it is again, motion by Jayden Reed down to the bottom of the screen to be in this stack here. He's going to be on the inside. He's going to run like kind of a delayed slant outside release, and again, that's how you should run it based off of what this cornerback's doing here. I believe he's in, I think they're actually in man here, but if not, even if he's in flat here, playing to the outside, kind of selling vertical a little bit, delaying on this, give a step inside, then kind of get a subtle push off on this cornerback, catch the ball, and then go to work. Make plays, make people miss, and get upfield. Jayden Reed's, his yak ability, his yards after catch ability last year was also excellent. Simply put the ball in this guy's hands, and he will make a play. You have 1 defender here, 2 defender, 3 defender, 4 defender, 5 up here. You would say, Jayden Reed's not going to score in this play, but he is. He's going to make one guy miss. Other guy just dives into oblivion. Josh Metellus can't catch up to him. And even when he does, Jayden Reed's powering through Josh Metellus, a much bigger defender, to get into the end zone. So here it is again, Jayden Reed on the motion. He's going to run a delayed slant. And kind of can't see him at this point because it's the offensive line view, but you'll see it once he catches the ball. Jordan Love fires over the middle. 1 miss, 2 miss. Josh Metellus puts a little, hesitation step to get to the outside and then powers through for the touchdown. Awesome yards after catch ability, playmaking ability by Jayden Reed. So those are all the clips I have from Jayden Reed. I could keep going, honestly. I have more, but I don't want this to be a 40-minute video. As much as I love talking about wide receiver and as much as I love talking about Jayden Reed, I think I got my point across. That I believe Jayden Reed's going to be a superstar in the NFL. I believe Jayden Reed's going to be one of the best, if not the best, slot receivers in the NFL, but he's not only that. He plays outside. You can play him in the slot. You play him in the backfield. You give him end arounds. You give him jet touch passes. The dude could probably even throw the football. I mean, if we're being honest, this guy does it all. He's a complete, absolute weapon, and he's going to be a focal point in this Packers offense. You saw how much of a focal point he was his rookie season, right off the rip. Week 1, week 2, week 3. I mean, he was a focal point. The Packers knew exactly what they were getting when they ran that card up for Jayden Reed, select him in the 2nd round at MSU. They knew exactly what they were getting, and they didn't wait. They're like, let's get this guy on the field. We know what he can do. He's a weapon. Out of the slot, out at the Z, out at the X, whatever it may be, out of the backfield. It doesn't matter. Get the guy the ball. Put the ball in his hands. He knows how to get open. He's going to be the quarterback's best friend. Jayden Reed, just a beauty to watch, and I'm so excited for the future of this wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. And they have so much talent in that room, and it definitely starts with guys like Jayden Reed that can just kind of simply do it all. Very excited for 2024 for Jayden Reed and all these other wide receivers especially. You guys know how high I am on Tay Wicks as well. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. These are my favorite type of ones to make, going over wide receiver film. It's probably my favorite thing to do, so that's probably why this was a longer one. But I really appreciate you guys coming by to the video. If you could, please have a like down below. Go hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel. Training camp right around the corner. You won't regret it. But I'll catch you all in the next one, and as always, go Pack Go.